And welcome to the WGL Summer Postshow. I got some Siamese twins on stream here.
Yeah.
Two night elves that look exactly the same. What the fuck? No bad motherfucker today, Neutron. Thank you very much for joining us once again.
It's always motherfucker, bro.
Even without that, thank you very much. And for the first time on the post show, the legendary Kevin Schwem. What an honor to have you with us. All right. It was a pretty good day for the Night Elves today, wasn't it? Kevin, I always hear from you that Night Elves are so weak and they can't win anything. And now I look at the ESL Meisterschaft relegation, you win everything. I look at LawLiet, he wins 3-0 against Lin, Moon wins as well. Maybe you're in the wrong?
Yeah, I thought about it before the post show, and I'm really confused. Maybe they all looked at my Twitter and they thought, okay, let's prove him wrong, let's just lose and play bad, because otherwise I can't really explain it. But it's nice that we have two elves in the semifinal. It's always sad if your waste drops out of a tournament, I guess. But
yeah, I feel that. I feel that. My undead brothers, they're all out. Thanks to you guys. Neutron, how can you explain the strength of the Night Elves these days?
Oh man, it's hard to say. The strength of Night Elves is shown the best in Infi Foggy's matchup. Yeah.
Why are you smiling so much?
Because Infi showed full strength of Night Elves nowadays.
Okay, we will get into this as the second match. Kevin, what's your impression of the tournament altogether so far? Is there anything to take away from? Do you see any patterns, maybe?
Like, generally speaking, I think like you and the WGL team make the best out of the situation. I think the content is nice, the stream has a good quality, and the interviews are amazing, and that we have like translations of pre-made interviews, and then Wang in chat, who is translating in real time, is amazing as well, because I love the insights from the players after the games. And from the games, it's hard to say. I think most of the favorites prevailed over the course of the tournament. It was nice that Foggy made it, but I guess at some point the ping difference is just too hard in a World Championship. And I guess about the matches we will talk later.
Indeed. All right, let's get into the first one. What an upset to most of us, I guess. LawLiet 3-0 versus Lin. Neutron, we talked with Starshaped a little, and Starshaped was very, very sure that Lin is becoming the champion again. That wasn't the case.
It's really strange. Today, I saw all the games, not like the last time, and thanks. So I was really surprised how bad Lin played. I mean, he underplayed a lot. So usually he's much better, and today it was super strange. Like on the first map, on Echo, he went harassing against +9 close, and he went super. Not from the start. He didn't scout with the peon, so he didn't know what's coming on the where is Night of Creeping. So he went super late when the camp was already done, and he had no healing, so he got damaged, forced to get back, then waste a lot of time. So it was super strange build order, and I think he lost mostly because of this weird opening.
Yeah, it was kind of a mix of his play against Colorful, where he went full standard with a grunt opening and a Blade Master, and then he tried to mix in some Headhunters. Kevin, what do you think about that build of Lin today?
I'm really, really confused about the Blade Master Headhunter build that is played now. Just like on Tuesday during a tournament, Neytpoh, the German orc, who's a really strong player, played the same thing, and I was really surprised, and I thought, okay, he's old school, maybe it's some old strategy, but now I see it from Lin, and I just don't think it's that good, and it has any kind of advantage compared to the Farseer Headhunter build, because the way I see it is, you want to counter headhunters with a lot of archers. That makes a lot of sense because of the damage reduction and so on, and why it's cost too much lumber. You don't get tier 3, and it's inefficient because of the armor type. And then you have a strong Farseer who basically hard counters archers along the way on level 5 with the wolves, etc. But what does the Blade Master give you? Like, you have a lot less options, and I really don't understand it. Maybe Neutron has an idea, but I'm confused, to be honest.
Well, I think he chose wrong strategy on if we take Last Refuge, for example. He went to Headhunters and then he grabbed Shadowhunter with Hex, which is super weird. I mean, if you want to play tier 3 Headhunters, Torrents, and stuff, you need high-leveled Blade Master. You don't need Shadowhunter. So usually why people creep Shadowhunter with a low-level Blade Master, because they need level 3 ASAP and then to push with second snakes or make expansion with second snakes, and Hunts can't break through second level snakes because the damage huge. So and it makes a lot of sense. But when you see when guy just creep Shadowhunter without snakes at all, and then tech straight to tier 3, and he end up in the battle with level 1 or 2 Blade Master, which does 0 damage to archers. And who cares about Shadowhunter? Is it Hex level 1 or level 2? Seriously, I mean, what's the difference? So you don't need the level at Shadowhunter if you go this strategy. So if you go standard Grand Shaman's expansion against Hunts, yeah, Shadowhunter is needed to be as fast as possible to level 5. But if you play with tier 3 and against mass archers, you definitely need to level at Blade Master to do the damage.
No, definitely. Otherwise, you have like 0 frontline all the time. Because usually you would have at least a TC, but then with a weak Blade Master, you basically have nothing, no wolves.
Yeah. So I mean, when I play against orcs who goes to tier 3, if we both grip all the map and he end up with Blade Master level 4 or even 5 in the late game, it's the battle in the late game. He started killing my archers with solo Blade Master, and then and then he uses copies, or how it's called. I forgot. Illusions, yeah. And I can't dispel all of them because I need too many wisps. Also, he uses lighting shield on all the illusions, so it becomes very hard. I always need to either focus this Blade Master or just ignore it, but I can't ignore it if he crits all the time, so it becomes super hard. And if I focus him, he has another front line with grunts or torrents, so I can't just forget about it. And if I focus torrents, Blade Master kills me, so it's really, really hard. But in this game, we saw Shadowhunter high leveled, which did 0 impact in the game.
One more thing I'd like to add is, about the wisps. Usually the elf needs a lot of wisps in against tier 3 orc, let's say Spirit Link or just drain mana and so on. And the strong Farseer with Chain Lightning can take them out easily, but the blade can't really do that so much. And I feel like that's one thing that's missing as well. So it can be good. I agree with the strong blade, but it's really risky. Then I ask myself, okay, is it really better than the FS build? But
yeah, the Wisp were an interesting thing because in the game against Colorful, I think there was no real good Wisp connection. He detonated a little bit on the heroes, but never on the shaman, I think. And in this game, in every single fight, there was big detonates. Like something was really off today.
Yeah, he wasn't really himself, I thought. In the first game, it was a disaster. I mean, when the keeper level 3 harassed him, he had a wrong purge on the Shadowhunter and he lost the Grunt, and that tilted him. But at the same time, he lost his Blade Master against no lockdown at the Expo, just the Alchemist and some archers and mercs. And I thought, okay, well, it was a bad game. He GG's out, it's okay. And then on LR, he fought back and he had a really nice game, I think. But then Northern Isles was just a disaster again, and he gave keeper level 3, and then he was running around weirdly with his blade. I don't know if we have a clip of that, but it was obvious that he's gonna die because there was an owl
Yeah.
had the tree, and then he tried to save the Shadowhunter still, and then he ended up losing both. And he should have known, and yeah, he was just tilted again, I guess.
Yeah, game on Northern Islands was super strange. So he went out of the base with level 1 heroes, trying to kill the keeper with Hex, and then end up losing both heroes. Super strange. So usually orcs already realized that they just need to sit a little before the first shamans, and they're not going out of the base like this. Super strange.
Yeah, I can't really find an explanation either. Maybe there's going to be an interview or something where he will tell us what happened.
Well, shit happens.
Yeah, true. What can you say about LawLiet? Were there any mistakes, or was it strong play? What do you think about the performance of LawLiet, Kevin?
I think he played it really, really well today. Generally, I think there's a couple of different phases in Orc against Elf, and in the first phase, the Elf just wants level 3. Like, it's the best thing you can get in the early game, and he achieved that all the time, like, pretty easily. I don't think there were big mistakes. It was really rather on the side of Lin. Like, I mean, he's such a good player, but obviously something went wrong, and that's oftentimes you hear, okay, it was let's say a boring series, maybe for a viewer because the games were short. But I think as a player, it's really interesting to look at short games between pros, because short games usually mean something was completely off, since we don't really have build order wins in Warcraft like you have in StarCraft 2, you could say. And so if a game is really short, something was really, really off, and someone made a big mistake too. And yeah, even if it's Lin, you should look at it that way, I guess. And yeah, it wasn't his best day, I guess.
Yeah, LawLiet played very patiently these games. Everything was good. I mean, on Last Refuge, it's not that easy to get level 2 keeper from the start, because usually Blade Master goes to harassing you, and you can end up losing all the creeps and trees, and the Blade Master gonna be level 2 instead of you. Sometimes it happens. But he patiently went on the other side of the map. Then he bought Staff of Tele, uh, waited for some army on the expansion. Then when owls were ready, he used one, and only after that he started creeping. So everything was in time. Then he went for alchemist. So I mean, he played really well on all the maps. I have not noticed any mistakes, but also he was a bit lucky with the items on the echo. He got close +9, which is right now maybe the best item on the spot, because pedant of energy not that good as it was earlier, and close are still really great, especially for entangle killing grants heroes and others in the mid game. Also he found close on Last Refuge, so and he executed perfectly, and Lin made lots of mistakes, so that's why he lost.
All right. That's a good conclusion, I guess. Very easy, very fast, 3-0. Second set, Infi versus Foggy. We, not too many people had high hopes for Foggy due to the conditions, I think, and being up against his nemesis, Infi. Neutron, you said this series tells us a lot. What did it tell us?
Well, I said it tells us a lot of about the power of nettles. Well, I'm not gonna whine or something, but these games, Infi played really, really well. So it was impressive. I didn't remember. I don't remember any of big mistakes. So everything was really good. On Northern Isles, it was kind of close-ish game if you consider all three. And there was a moment when Foggy tried to push with the Hippo Riders. It was nice strategy. He wanted to surprise, and it definitely worked out. But Infi had two barracks and produced rifles all the way, and Foggy always tried to kill those rifles only. So And if you try to kill units which are constantly producing from two buildings, you just end up losing HP of your units and mana, and Infi gonna have same amount of rifles all the time. So if it would be one ancient barrack, for example, you can kill them all, and from one barrack, it's not he can't produce it to keep the numbers. So in this case, I think he just needed to try to focus heroes, because you can't if he would damage or kill the hero, and Infi can't bring it back to the battle right away, so it would be much more easier for Foggy to play, and maybe he could do something efficient. Also, I think when he tried to harass with the air, he needed to make an expansion on the top. I mean, on his natural, because you can't. It's very hard to switch from air like this to giants or bears, because you need two more buildings and tier 3, and it's super expensive. So you need to try to do as much damage as possible, and make an expo in the meantime. And then I would point out another moment when they were fighting at Infi's natural. Foggy had around 70 and the Infi 80 plus food. And where it's the moment where three giants just died to the rifles. I think Foggy just A-clicked and he tried to snipe rifles instead of focusing Mountain King, for example, like he did later on. So if he would try to kill a MK instead of just fighting against such a big army, it could have been much better. He could have saved those giants. I mean, yeah, you have only one staff, but they have so much HP. You can just move them back usually and try to out heal later on. Also, hero focus is a good answer to this huge human army, and MK is always in the front, and it's so easy to take him down. I think he should have done that.
Yeah, really, really interesting points. And you know, I think why Foggy tried the strategy is like the map seems to suit this style really well. There's like a couple of factors, like there's no mercenary camp. Infi had a really late Archmage level 3,
Yeah.
and the map is really big, so it's easy to hide the Ancient of Wind and to basically abuse their mobility. But I don't think the investment paid off. Like, it was unscouted, there was no guard tower, there was no rifle out yet, and yet he didn't kill so much. And as you say, I think an expo would have been really, really good, because with Entangle and 6 Hippo Riders, you can snipe anything that moves across the map, and then here and there you might kill a priest or like some
Yeah.
workers, and then try to build up your tier 3 game. But really finishing Infi with such a style, it's like the same as going mass mercs, mass hunts against the top level human. It rarely doesn't break them, like it damages them, but you don't really finish the game with it. And it was like, if you have 6 Hippo Riders unscouted and you still don't win, then maybe you need to adapt your strategy. And I think he did a good job. There were no big mistakes. It's just, as you say, an expo probably suits it better than trying to finish it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because Hippo Riders are usually a distraction strategy. You can't finish the game with it usually against a
Like
good
one guard
opponent.
tower and repair, and it's usually enough to defend it. They don't deal more damage than an archer. It's they just fly.
Yeah, it looked really cool for a couple of moments, but maybe he couldn't find the balance between harassing with them to get an expansion up and trying to end the game. And he was kind of in the worst of both, so he couldn't end the game there, and he didn't go for an expansion. But what I think was really interesting was the Infi reaction. I think he went double racks before seeing this, so either Foggy goes mass archers and then you have a lot of defense footmen that can be nice, or you get cheese and you get mass rifles that also work against dryads. Like, for human, is double racks maybe the way to go from here?
Yeah, Maybe because if Night Elf also makes fast expo or something on tier 2 after the push, it can work to break it with a fast like 60 plus army.
Yeah.
So I think double rocks is a really good choice.
I agree. Sometimes they on Tarina stand the human goes like one wax but buys mass mercs, which is basically the same with the berserkers and the priest. But I think it's really good. Yeah, it counters the tier 2 expo.
Yeah.
It counters mass archers at least before tier 3. It counters mass air. So you really need quick melee units against that, or create economic eco harass.
Yeah, that looked really, really good, and Infi continued to look good on map 2 and 3, where Foggy switched to a Warden. But it never felt like Infi was in trouble, to me at least.
Yeah. On Tirina stand, when everybody started to play Wooden and creep her to level 3, on this warriors rogue how they called the scripts with the where you can find consumable item.
You mean on top, right?
Yeah, on top or
The
on
rogues and the wizard, I guess.
yeah, okay, this guys, yeah. So everybody made Ancient of War close to these guys and crept level 3 immediately, and but after some after a lot of games, human adjusted a little and tried to deny your creeping somehow with footy or MK goes there as fast as possible, and the next adaptation step from Night Elves should be making Ancient of War safely on the other side of the map or close to your shop in the close to the base, because you need to Warden level 3. It's not about the item, so definitely it's great to creep that spot, because you can find mana potion or HP potion or something like that, but you need level. It's the first thing you need. So you better creep safely close to your base, get level 3, and then start your harassing game instead of risky creeping this camp which he crept and end up with Warden level 2 against MK almost level 4, because he finished all the creeps basically. 3 out of 4 creeps he finished, because Warden can't deal against MK level 3. You just need to run. So I saw the same moment when I think it was in a group, Alice against Sok or something like that, which did same creep spot, and it didn't work also. Oh no, he went harassing with the level 2 Warden. So you end up with Warden level 2 for a long time, and it's not the way you want to play against humans. It was the first mistake, I think, still continuing to creep that camp. And later on, like you point out on the stream, Demon Hunter was not a good choice, because he already had MK level 5 Blood Mage, so this 50 mana, and there were no creeps on the map, so this 50 mana burns doesn't really make a difference. So 1-2 bolts and demon is dead or stuff to the base, and Blood Mage just give all the mana to MK. So it wasn't that important. And Tinker is a great option on also even at level 1, because you can prevent this Blood Mage from draining mana from Warden. Also, it's good in the later against tanks and air. And I want to point out that he also didn't make any Mountain Giants again. So I think Mountain Giants is super important on this map. He made 2 expansions and didn't go to Mountain Giants. It's very hard to deal with tanks if you don't do MGs, and it's not really important to make second expansion. You better stay on 2 bases, defend it, and don't let human third base, and you're gonna be fine. So you don't need to spread your army and resources to make more bases, because you are super completely fine 2 against 2 base on this map. And since humans make expansion much more early, you always end up when human has 0 bases against your 1 base, or even 2 bases later on. So your goal is not to let human make third expansion, and making your own third usually force you to defend it, run from 1 base to another, instead of focusing on the important things.
Yeah, I think it's a good analysis. And just to talk one more time about like the very beginning of the match, and we saw this from Alice and now from Foggy. Like, I always think it's sad if you put yourself at such a big risk early on, especially on a late game map like Tirina Stand. So Foggy, he didn't get the Shadow Priest, which happens, but I don't think the Shadow Priest is like the biggest threat for one player on such a big map. But then he invested 150 mana to kill it, and a lot of time. He invested a blink and a fan of knives to kill it, which costs a lot of time, and it's not so much experience, and it's basically worth it for the human, because he just gets the expo for free in return. And then he builds this Ancient of War at a big camp next to the human, which is nice when it works out and you get another consumable, but it's also really risky and easily scouted. So he didn't play it safe at all. Just like on Northern Isles, he went for some cheesy style, I guess, to get an advantage, maybe because of the ping, but yeah, it can put you behind easily. If he just creeps his Goblin shop with a second Ancient of War, he's level 3, and then the game really begins. Both can try to expand with their strong heroes and so on. But like this, I'm not really sure. And then, as you said, the Demon Hunter, I don't agree with it either on a late game map, because it's nice on 1 base against 1 base with a Warden first, I guess. You can play it against human and undead. But on a map where the human can get a third base and go, and that usually means they go into tanks or copters at some point to reach the tier 3. The Demon Hunter will do nothing, especially on a map that's already crapped. You need something against this lane, because the Warden is really bad. And what is if the human just goes mass copters? Like, you will just get lamed. You have nothing really, or tanks. So
yeah, and against TH, this can definitely happen. Yeah, for sure. Do you think he played it that way, the first 2 maps, because of the conditions, because it is on NetEase? Like these
hard to say,
all-ins? Like, if he's gambling on 1 or 2 potions of mana and it works and he destroys them, okay, then it's fine.
No.
Maybe he would play it differently, but I don't know. Hard to say.
Maybe we will get some interview with him at some point, but to me it looked like it. And I mean, Echo Isles, he tried to play it safe actually, but the thing is, if we want to jump into that map, like, why didn't he start with the Merc camp? I feel like if you start with the top creep, the timing will never work out with you, because the human is level 3 before you, can get the staff and the dust and the boots if he wants to, and then harass you, and your expo will be so delayed. I don't see the biggest risk in just going for the Merc camp instantly if you creep it perfectly, which you should at a quarterfinal of the World Championship.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that either, and then he was behind again because he played it safe, ironically enough. But
yeah, maybe after 2 risky and lost matches, he wanted to switch it up, and that didn't work either. Newton, do you think this result would be different if it would have been offline?
No, I don't think so. It's really hard to play Neytpoh against human, and Infi in this matchup is probably the best human in the world, so
he punished everything. So it looks worse than it was from Foggy, I guess.
Yeah, so Foggy could play better, maybe games would be closer, but I don't think the result gonna change.
I would agree. So tomorrow we get LawLiet versus Infi. Kevin, your prediction?
LawLiet Infi. So LawLiet basically perfected the keeper style with the archers, I guess, and he plays the Warden the best. So I'm really looking forward to the series, and I think it will be a close one, a 3-2, especially since they can prepare now and still have a lot of time. I think it will be a 3-2, but I can't say for whom. But really looking forward to it.
Yeah, same. I think series is gonna be really close, and LawLiet is I would say the best player besides Moon against the humans. Besides Moon, because I don't really know how good Moon gonna play against humans, because he can also he can end up 0-3 or 3-0, losing hard or winning hard. So it's hard to predict. It's Moon. And LawLiet is super stable. He has good strategies. He always invents something interesting and which works. So I'm looking forward to watch this series really much. I think it's the best night of against human we could ever see.
I would agree. That's a lot of hype for a semifinal. Do you think it's a negative thing for LawLiet that he practiced with TH so much, since we know that Infi and TH are so close?
I don't think it's about this. Every strategy is known already, and you just need to execute well, and your in-game thinking should be on point. And so it doesn't matter who you practice with. You just, I mean, what TH could tell Infi? He goes creeping with second archer, then he gets back or what? So
He
it's
just makes
really
archers all the time.
yeah. So everybody knows that he gonna play warden or keeper with this mass archer style. So maybe he practiced with TH, then he came up with something interesting and decided not to use it against TH and to see how it's gonna be against Infi and something like this.
No, I don't think there's too many mind games going on there. I think you just want to have the best games possible,
Yeah,
and
I think so too.
you get them against TH. And let's say TH actually wants to abuse the training and help Infi indirectly by playing bad and just looking what LawLiet does. I mean, LawLiet isn't stupid, so if TH would troll around, he would just stop playing with him, I guess. So if the games went serious, and then again, there's replays of everyone. They know each other really well, and I think it's still better to have like games against the second best or maybe the best human after Infi instead of playing against someone who's like a lot weaker.
Good points, guys. Let's move into the second part of the bracket. Moonverse 1-0. What a crazy series this was.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, only Moon can play in such a strange and great series. The games were really interesting, cool, non-standard strategies, and just out of the picture. You can watch all the games on the tournament, and you can watch Moon's games, and it's a completely different level. Not only just because he's good, but because he uses different and not non-standard strategies. It's really fun to watch.
It was something else. Oh, no, there was 2 times the air strategy, but for the rest of it, of the series, it was always a different style, which was really nice.
Yeah, so he played Keeper Archer, Keeper Alchemist, Mass Archers. Then he tried Keeper Alchemist, Mass Fairies with Hans. Then Demon Naga, Demon Alchemist. So it's so many different plays.
Yeah, Moon looked really good, especially the first two maps. I felt like 1-0 had a plan to harass early, and Moon was so ready. Like, he knew exactly what was up and defended it godlike, and then the entire game plan of 1-0 fell apart. Would you agree?
Yeah, the delay on Concealed Hill was insane with the Demon Hunter, like the perfect detonate. And he bought so much time, and he wasn't really in full control. He just grabbed then he went back, he grabbed the shop, he grabbed the expo, he grabbed the fountain, and he had 6 items, good hero levels. Expo was grabbed, and he was full HP. And he was on the middle of the map, so it can't really get any better. So that was insanely well done. And 1-0 was delayed, so what else do you want, really, besides a stronger race? But
I was watching the game, and the hero levels on the stream growth was growing super fast, like compared to 1-0's. He had 1-0 had 3-2-1 or something when Moon already had 4-3-2 or something like that. So it was super huge difference. You don't see a difference like this usually. He did really everything super fast, and well, that's Moon is a really great player, and I'm really glad to watch his games when he's on top of his shape.
No.
What do you
C8
think?
was so solid.
What do you think is the reason he played the keeper in mass air? Like, who plays mass air these days?
I do sometimes. It still
And
works.
Toxic.
You just need to know the situations.
One thing I would like to mention here is he didn't play it the standard way. He went with Hans early, and he did it on LR and Echo Isle, which are both maps where the undead can fast expand easily, and 1-0 likes to do that. And I felt like that was smart.
So he already prevents it.
Yeah, he counters the Expo and he has the option for mass Hans. But then again, against the Fiends, I feel like the Hunts are still nice because with archers you end up with like 6 Hippo Riders, and at that point you have Keeper, Alchemist, 6 Hippo Riders, but nothing else on the ground. But here he had Keeper, Alchemist, and some Hunts and instant Furies, and I felt like that was a lot stronger because the Fiends were threatened more. He had the counter to the Expo ready. It's easier to run away against ghouls with the Hunts, and yeah, it was just really nicely executed. And I think this adaptation was small, but really effective.
Yeah, it was both on maps where we know that 1-0 played expansions before, so he's ready for expansions. He can go into the late game. There was like big brain plays by Moon once again.
Yeah, he's great.
And then he lost 2 maps in a row. What happened there?
Well, Amazonia wasn't really a loss. I think if he doesn't lose the Demon Hunter like that or the Naga level 3 before and like early in the game, I think he has the game as well.
He lost some focus, I think, and a couple of misplays, and the game is thrown. Yeah.
The level 3 Naga loss was huge. The early was so good, but you can't really throw an undead back so much. You can only delay him in the early game because the undead will always go tier 3 and try to creep the map. But if you lose the level 3 Naga in a game where you didn't fast expand, it's really, really huge. And then 1-0 just played it perfectly. He knew he could expand. I don't agree with selling an ice tower like ever, but it was just to trigger me, I guess.
Exactly, 1-0 wants to trigger the legendary Kevin Strahm, just taunting towards ESL Pro Tour finals. We're building up that feud already. I never had I had the feeling that 1-0 has big problems just closing out the game. Like the fights were kind of slightly in his favor, but Moon, the resilience and the will to survive was so strong. It was really impressive.
I think if the mana burns are as perfect and like the Demon Hunter positioning as well as it was for Moon today, it's really hard to close it out. And then Moon always uses the Moonstone. He has the Wellspring upgrade early, and then like during night you can't finish it. That's a fact. And then if he minimizes daytime with the Moonstones too, I think all you can do is try to expand and just become unbeatable.
Good point.
We had so many fights. You saw it.
It was so crazy that game.
Would like to have like a KPI mana burnt in the game. That would be interesting to see. Like if you look at our games, maybe like 10 mana burns, but then Moon 50 or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. In that 40-minute game, that was absolutely sick. Last game was decided by Mass Air once again. Is there something 1-0 could have done better to punish this style of Moon?
I wonder if guards would work against the Hunt opening.
Huh.
Well, against Hunts, it's probably always good to go Gargs, because Hunts are kind of useless, so you force Night Elf to make archers, because you can't counter Gargs with anything but archers at the start. So you can't just go Dryads, because you're gonna die to mass Gargs. So he would force him to make archers, and it would be a different game completely. But maybe he's not feeling good with the archers against Night Elf, because I didn't see him playing it.
Me neither. And that's like Asians rarely play Gargs, right? Like they never do it. In Europe, we have so many great Garg players, but it's not easy to play them. That's the thing. Like it always looks really strong, and then with a tier 2 expo or something, it can be so effective, especially on Concealed Hill. But yeah, you need to be used to playing it, I guess.
Yeah, I think I don't really know, but it's definitely not a flashy play style, and maybe some undeads tried it and they got some flack from the community. Stop this boring style or whatever. I don't know. In Asia, everything is possible, but they really don't go Gargs. No one really does. Maybe it's time to pick it up. I mean, X-Lord showed them how to play Crypt Lord, and now everyone on NetEase plays Crypt Lord. Maybe we need a strong Gargoyle player at one of these tournaments showing how it's done.
Yeah,
and it makes sense if you go for an early Hunt Resolve, it puts you behind so much lumber-wise. Like it takes a long time to build. It costs 100 wood, and the Wisp doesn't get a wood during this time. And either against Gargs you want like an early Expo or an early tech, but like with the early Hunt Resolve you have nothing, and not even units that can attack air. So it makes sense in theory, but maybe it's just the overall worst strategy, and Moon will just adapt and still don't lose. And then there's Mercs on this map who are good against Gargs, but I would like to see it, but probably they will not experiment in a World Championship for us.
Maybe at next or during the ESL Pro Tour, maybe it's time for the Chinese undeads to adapt to Europe for once. Once again, not a top 4 run for 1-0. Moon is back in the semis, and he will face TH, who was struggling a little, was also down 2 maps, but took the series in the end. Nutrion, your thoughts on the 4th quarterfinal?
Well, my thought was maybe I shouldn't watch it, because I already watched 3 quarterfinals and it was great, and now it's Orc Human. But then I was like, okay, Neo asked me on his knees, so I should watch it. And actually, the series was pretty fun. At one moment, I thought Focus gonna made it. I thought he gonna break his I don't know, curse or whatever, because he's never going that high in such a big tournaments. But then we see some blood match first, and Focus lost completely against it. So
crazy, right? How overwhelmed he was.
Yeah, I'm not that good in this matchup, so it's very hard for me to analyze it. But in the last games, TH just played perfectly, I think.
I'm obviously not an expert either on this matchup, but I thought the matchup is like set in stone more. But here we saw so many different hero combinations. We saw Expo, we saw tier 2 against tier 2, which was really refreshing, I guess. And on Echo Isles with this Mass Raider Dark Ranger push, I thought this looked so good, but then I didn't understand why was it a Panda or Northern Isles and not just a Dark Ranger again, for example.
Right?
Just switched up. I can't really explain it, and I don't see an advantage, especially. I mean, it worked out on Echo Isles where you can buy Shadow Priest in theory to dispel, and you can't do that on Northern Isles. So shouldn't it be like even better on Northern Isles? But I don't know. And then Amazonia, the crazy blood mage game, and I think Toxie wrote in chat during the game that they had a similar game with a similar result like 6 months ago, and Focus didn't adapt at all. So I don't really know. But yeah, TH played really, really well, and I don't think Focus played bad, like at all. I guess you need an earlier transition if you go Mass Raiders, or you need to really go all in. Again, Northern Knights was like a mix for me. He ended up with an Expo and Mass Raiders that can't really deal damage, and when there's towers, you don't kill buildings anymore. He couldn't really fight anymore, and then he just thought he had like Mass Teleport, but he didn't. 350 gold every 20 seconds, and
yeah, that was crazy. We had barely any normal meta games here. Is the time for these crazy clap and stomp battles, is it maybe over, or is it just a special situation here for WGL?
What do you mean? What over? For what?
That like we move towards mass raider play, more towards buildings and not the straight up fights anymore that we saw, for example, between Fly and Infi before.
I wonder if they wanted to punish this like no quant tax of orcs, and maybe they didn't expect this Mass Raider style to be that strong.
Yeah.
But then again, it's Infi and TH, and they can play every race against each other, so I would expect them to be prepared for everything. I don't know. It felt like the Expo style can work, but it's so dangerous. Like this Mars Raider really takes you out, and then with the pillage they get so much out of it. So I'm not sure if it's better than the tier 2 tech. But yeah, I'm really not the expert here. It's just how it looked like to me that, I mean, as soon as you have 4 Raiders and you force the TP early, the Archmage can't go on the map anymore. I mean, we have Razorman and the Euro Bladder. we all know how this goes.
True.
It's like, oh, it's dangerous.
All right, then we get some Moon versus TH. That's an all-time classic. What can we expect there? Like, we saw some very creative series already, and now these two 500 IQ geniuses are clashing. Like, what to expect?
You can definitely expect great series, and it doesn't matter what the result, but this series is gonna be super great. Looking forward for it.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, they have a day now, and they know each other inside out, obviously, for such a long time. But this year, they haven't faced each other at all. So there's no precedent game. Maybe on ladder, of course, but then it's CH playing random, and it's all not serious. Super excited for that.
And then we have Moon, who's like the god, the Knight of Mirror, and he like rarely loses a map or a series. So he can really focus on, I guess everyone will focus on his matchup tomorrow, but Moon really doesn't have to bother about Knight of Mirror in the final, I guess.
Yeah.
So he can just go full practice against Human and be confident in the game against LawLiet.
So Moon is going to take it all tomorrow?
I think so. Yeah. I think he's going to do it.
Neutron,
I think it suits him well that the day will not be too long, that it's split across multiple days, because he oftentimes says that he gets tired and so on. Yeah. And now it was just one series today, and good rest for tomorrow. So I think he can do it.
Yeah. Also, he has the second semifinal, so he can sleep a little longer. Plus, there's the game for third in between, so he has time to rest after his semifinal. This is a good point, man. That should definitely suit him for sure.
Yeah, I'm good friends with Moon, so I know this.
Yeah, of course. Similar skill, similar brain. Yes. You see it on the battlefield. Neutron, your prediction for tomorrow? Moon takes it all?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, it can be TH, but I think if Infi gonna win LawLiet and TH gonna win Moon, Infi gonna take it down. But if Moon wins TH, I think he gonna be the champion.
Yeah. It's gonna be sick tomorrow. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Every possibility is just
it's super hard to predict. Actually, the result of the semis. Both semis are gonna be great and enjoyable. So looking forward to see it, to watch.
And another side effect, like us elves are probably like the biggest runners, and then we have the humans who follow with Death Note and Todd in Europe, and now it's 2 elves and humans. So I guess times will change after tomorrow. Like what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the town hall.
Twitter, I guess.
I'm definitely looking forward to the town hall. I mean, it's very clear now that the undead is underpowered. We have no chance. I mean, we were lucky to have 1-0 in the quarterfinals, so we definitely need some buffs now. And I guess that goes for Orc as well. We need to buff. We need to nerf human more.
But yeah, thanks for having me. It was really fun.
Yeah, Kevin, I heard you're grinding quite a bit and you're getting more and more accomplishments to your chest. What the fuck is that?
This guy won please 3-1.
Yeah.
He's great.
I was on the plateau for like a long time, but now it was really frustrating, but I feel like now I'm making progress again, and it's refreshing. And I started my job in April, so I couldn't practice that much, but now that settled a little and I get like a real rhythm. And I was doing events in like real life, and I still do, but now with the Corona crisis, like the whole business is done, so I have some more free time, like unexpectedly, but that helps too. So really nice, and I will grind more and hopefully make it to the Meisterschaft. We'll see.
Looks very good so far. If people want to see your stream or want to see your Twitter, where can they find you?
Well, it's just twitch.tv/KevinWalkWith3, like WC3, and it's the same on Twitter with a 1 at the end, because the other thing didn't work. And Yeah. Yeah. I'm in chat, so if you want to follow, feel free. And I stream regularly some Night Elf grind sessions, so it's only about Night Elf. I don't really play the other races, and I can't play the other races. So if you enjoy that, feel free. Step by.
All right, Newton, tomorrow is the big day. You return to
Yeah.
streaming?
Well, yeah, after the tournament, I will stream for a while.
Hype. So much hype.
Yes. Yeah, bitch.
I don't really care about the finals, man. I just want to see Newton streaming and talk shit for 4 hours straight. All the information will, of course, be in the stream description if you want to follow these super nice guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Let's get hype for the Final Four tomorrow.
Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.